This week on Stay Out of My Fridge.
If you've got nothing going on, it'd be so nice.
I know you're busy and everything, but it'd be pretty cool. But
hell yeah. Brisket.
Phew.
They smoked their chips, fam. So like their chips were smoked and like they were crunchy and crispy and stuff still. But like there was that smoky flavor in the chips too, and you're like, oh man, that's next level shit.
Hash brown, it's $2.89
Bro, are you kidding me?
for one hash brown. Do you remember when they used to be $2 for $1? Not to be that walking uphill in the snow both ways to school type of person, but I do remember when you used to be able to get 2 hash browns for $1. I ate one of these homemade edibles at the housekeeper found at the hotels, so probably should have ate one of those, but it wasn't bad.
All right, we were passing it backstage,
Oh,
giggity,
shit.
about some stuff. What were we going off about, Brandon?
I love NFL. All right. And we talked last week about the difference between college football and pro football fans? A little bit?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay, whatever. Well, there's a difference, and usually they don't meet in that if you either like one more than the other. It's not usually an even thing. Well, fantasy football has taken college football way up here for me, and it's really, and maybe it's because I've got some skin in the game, right?
True.
Well, my point is when I'm playing fantasy football, I love the idea of waking up on a Sunday, excuse me, and being able
That's
to.
the end of the first quarter. We'll be right back.
We'll be back after these messages. Love waking up on a Sunday and having a few minutes to breathe, to eat a hot dog, to tell the kids to off, and then to be able to set my fantasy lineup. But when I wake up and there's an early game that started at like 8 o'clock, what in the hell? And I've got somebody that's on the bench that's got 17 points or something like that. It pisses me off to no end. Can the NFL just stick with noon, 3, and 7 for their starts of their game on a Sunday, please?
Oh, what about last week where we had football that started in London at 8:30 in the morning, our time, and then we had the Pittsburgh and Cowboys game that got delayed up until. I think I watched that game. I was up until almost 1, but I think it ended. Was it like 12:15 something? I know it was it was past 1 Eastern.
Yeah,
But
it was
you know
the
what?
record for the longest day of football in NFL history.
But you know what? Right now it is 3. Just to share with folks, it is 9:11 a.m. my time. Nope. It's also the same time for Euban. It's an hour ahead for Matt for Beard Laws. But it's only 3:11 p.m. for the Brits in London. So if you fast forward 3 hours from now, hey, guess what? It's noon here, 1 o'clock for Matt, and it's 6 o'clock for the Brits. Have a night game. Are you kidding me? Like, what are you thinking, NFL?
Yeah, they
They
just
can
want
have their tea at a
everybody
different
to
time.
watch this game that nobody really cares. I mean, like I said, this is Jacksonville and Chicago.
Oh, they're
3-0.
really catching that early Sunday non-church going crowd, aren't they?
Well, imagine being like, what if your team is on the West Coast? You're like, cool, can't wait to wake up and watch this game at 6:30 in the morning. Might have a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Can't
This
drink
is
all
probably
day
the
if you
most-
don't start in the morning.
Right. This is probably the most animated I've gotten, so I apologize.
No, it's good. I saw it before we press record. If you guys want to see that footage, head over to our Patreon that doesn't exist. And I was like, let's just press record because I love a good Brandon fired up in the morning, just usually going off about that. And because your team had a bye week for college, right? So you didn't have to stress over football yesterday or over the weekend.
I watched 0 football yesterday, and it's not because my team wasn't playing. When my team's not playing, I'm not in it. I was checking scores and seeing updates. I watched about 5 minutes of the Oregon-Ohio State game, which was
Did you
great.
see the controversy in that one?
No.
The early?
What
So
happened?
there was, I think, their best receiver or one of the top receivers for Oregon. Apparently, they're going back and forth, just like football players do. The dude spits on the safety or corner for Ohio State. Ref sees it, ejected immediately, which, right move. You know what I mean? And then he gets escorted out, throws his helmet, has a little meltdown in the tunnel, and they ended up almost losing the game. I think they held on for a 1-point win.
Yep. And then Colorado and Kansas State, that was a pretty exciting game as well. It went on super late. I was almost going to text you, Brandon, because I was like, I know Nebraska's on. I was like, I wonder if he's watching this game. But I was like, better not. I was like, it's almost 12:30 in the morning. He's probably gonna kill me.
Which? Oh man, that sucks. I wanted Colorado to win. I didn't even know the score. I
Yep,
just looked it up just now.
dude, it was heartbreaking. It was such a good game. If you look at the scoring in the last 6 minutes, that's when all of that took place. Like
Did
it
it
was
really?
just back to back to back to back.
And for the record, I'm not a Colorado fan. I'm a Nebraska fan, but Nebraska was the only team to beat Colorado this year until Kansas State just did. So.
It's I'm not a Colorado fan, but I am a Dion fan, and I like to see what he's doing. So I'm not
I don't. On the surface, when you're hearing the media tell his story and you're hearing the sound bites, you don't like the guy. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear him telling me about the defensive line recruits he wants and how he wants them to have daddy issues or something like that, or how he's taking players in and not actually doing in-house recruiting or traveling to people's homes to visit their mommy or daddies. They're having them come to him. I don't want to hear that. But then when you actually listen to the full press conference, you see what he's doing. His team is, he has the playmakers on his team to match with any team in the country, playmaker-wise. Quarterback, wide receiver. They've got decent running back. They've got a couple good wide receivers, not just Travis Henry. But and plus, I've always loved an underdog. And he's went from being on top of the college football world early last year to being this guy that people just want to see fired. And how can you not pull for a guy like that?
right. And Travis Hunter, dude, he's I love watching him play, but he gets hurt. He got hurt again yesterday. So
I called him Henry. I meant Hunter. Sorry. Thanks.
No, you're fine. Yeah, it's just you like to see him play both sides of the ball. It's once in a lifetime, but then every other week you're seeing like he's going to get hurt. Well, yeah, he's out there 99% of the time. Jesus.
Yeah, it's a game that flies, and it's a game that you could get hurt very easily. So it makes sense if you're out there way too much.
Here's why I like college football. Looking at the scores just from the top 25, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games within 3 points. 7 games within 3 points. Most of them were 2 or 3 of them were with 1 or 2 points. And so, and that's in the top 25. That's a huge list. And these aren't, it's not the Bears and the Jaguars. We're not talking the NFL in parity. We're talking, Oregon State, pretty level when it comes to their talent level, but Mississippi State, Georgia, Penn State, USC, those aren't equal teams. Alabama, South Carolina, are you kidding me? Those aren't equal.
And they had them till the end pretty much too.
Yeah. Purdue, they went for 2. That's the only reason why they lost. Like that was an exciting game as well.
Pittsburgh against Cal. So that's why I love college football. And that's the other thing. You were talking about Nebraska being off this week. They were. Well, Nebraska here's the thing that's funny about it. Nebraska beat Purdue. They beat, Rutgers. And there's another team they beat. But anyway, the three teams that our opponents have played after playing Nebraska have all beaten them. And Nebraska fans are up in arms like, oh my God, Purdue's getting beat by, Illinois, or Rutgers is getting spanked, or this and that. Well, the idea is, and Matt Rule, Nebraska's coach, has said this before. He says he loves seeing teams play against Nebraska and then the next week get their complete teeth pushed in, because that says that we beat them up and we broke them. Now they go in the next game and they get their shit. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but
probably some.
Teams are 1-5 this year following the game playing Nebraska. So
wow.
Well, and honestly, I didn't pay this. I think we've mentioned this several times. I didn't pay attention to a lot of the college games at all until you were talking about it, like with Nebraska. I've been paying attention to several different games, and like I said, I was going to text you and be like, "Hey, did you see this?" But I was like, I'm super stony baloney, and this game's really exciting, and I just wanted to share it with somebody. Everybody else was asleep in the house, and I'm like, "Hey,
who's on my time zone?
This is awesome."
No, it's the same way. Brandon's got me checking scores, doing this, maybe putting a little bit of some money on some games just for some college football.
You just wait till the playoffs begins, man. It's going to be so lit.
I'm here for it. I told myself once they get above like 8, 10, 12, whatever, I never imagined they would say 12 teams, but 8 teams or something like that. I said, I'd get more into it, because now, again, like you talked about last week, we might get an Army or somebody in there. And, like you got a team like Syracuse, local to me, that everybody loves. They blow a game versus Stanford. Stanford comes all the way over. It's the only loss they have. They could be undefeated potentially around that 20 mark with a chance to potentially get in and some tough games coming up. It just makes it fun. And I have to imagine as a player, you have a little bit more to play for instead of saying, hey, I'm going to the DraftKings 500 Bowl out in, Arizona. Instead, now you're like, I got a chance to make the playoffs. I mean, that's what every kid or, kid, guy, whatever they are, that's what they want to play for is a championship, not some bowl game.
And I mean, we all grew tired of seeing Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, Oregon, those 5 teams, and then a handful of others as they would come in and out, Florida State or whoever else, over the past 10 years, dominate. I hated seeing that shit. I don't want to see that shit anymore. I want to see a Syracuse or an Army or a Navy or an Air Force come through, or even a Colorado come through. Colorado's having the resources of any of these big teams, big programs. They've never. I know everybody's like on Colorado's nutsack right now, which is nice, but Colorado won a national championship in the early 90s on that 5th down against Missouri. So they didn't cheat. The refs just up is what it was. And they haven't won a conference title since, I want to say, I don't even know if they won a conference title, 2001 maybe, whatever it was. They're not a powerhouse. And to see them up here in playoff talk, not anymore now, they've lost 2 games, but
yep.
It's nice. So.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, like I said, and it mixes up the Saturdays, at least for us, because where we are, it's already cold, 30s at night, and it's pretty sweet because I still don't have heat in my newly built bedroom, so it feels like 40s. It feels like I'm camping all the time. So if you're listening to this, heat guy, it'd be cool if you rolled through pretty soon.
If you've got nothing going on, it'd be nice.
I know you're busy and everything, but it'd be pretty cool. But yeah, we ended up over the weekend. We ended up somehow kid free. So I was like, let's go check out a restaurant, that she's never been to. So there's this place called the Smokehouse. I love smoke food. And I think you guys are fans of this as well. And we got there. We were the only people in the entire restaurant for 2 hours. And we just kept hanging out there. I'm like, my beer wasn't even like halfway full. You want another one? Yes, please. You need anything else? And I'm telling you what, this food was amazing. We started off with some nachos, so some pulled pork, nachos, cheese. I mean, just amazing. And then they had this, I'm going to look it up, see if I can find it on the menu. Apparently, it was a sandwich that was in the top 5 of some kind of like Rachel Ray contest, which I didn't really know. I probably should have looked that up before we got there, but
she's not Paula Dean. I think you're safe.
Fair. But I didn't even know that there was some kind of contest for this, but the wife ended up going with something. It was called the Smokehouse Roundup. It was slices of smoked beef brisket, topped with tomato, hickory smoked bacon, crispy homemade French fries, melted Monterey Jack cheese, served with a side of garlic mayo.
Did he say Monterey?
He did.
Monterey.
Yeah.
Monterey. It's fine. It's just silly. Don't mean to poke fun.
I was in my brain. I was trying to say it so I could trigger somebody, but I wasn't looking at your faces to see if it was working. So I just stumbled a little bit. They don't have it. They don't have this thing on the menu, which is a little bit confusing to me. Anyways, it was awesome. I told the wife, I was like, we're going to need to just go to places, drive around, make sure that there is, nobody in the parking lot. And then we'll just, that's where we'll go. Having a restaurant to yourself is it feels like you're a baller when you're not. If that makes sense.
There's just so many people waiting under every mood or every move. Just like, oh, hey, he took 2 sips. Refill. Oh, did you need another napkin? I see that you have something in your beard. Would you like me to get that for you?
Well, it's a barbecue place, so they just have a roll of paper towels there, and they're like, hey, we know things get messy, so just have at it.
I'm a slut for a good pulled pork nacho, too. Like, especially if they put their homemade barbecue sauce to go with their cheese. Woo!
I went to this you talk about pulled pork nachos. I went to this food truck, and they made nachos. You could have them with any protein. I had it with brisket, which was they just chop up the brisket. But they smoked their chips, fam. So like their chips were smoked and like they were crunchy and crispy and stuff still. But like there was that smoky flavor in the chips too, and you're like, oh man, that's next level shit. One thing I want to say about smoking food, I loved actual food that's been on a smoker. I loathe, not to be the guy with the pinky in the air, liquid smoke, that shit that people put on, because they always overdo it and it just tastes so fake and artificial.
It ruins the taste. Here's the nachos. Sorry, I'm not trying to make you hungry, but I took a picture of this.
Too
Look
late.
at
Oh,
that.
man.
All of the cheese, I mean, and it had their in-house smoked barbecue sauce on it too. Just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
This is the inside of the bar. I was going to show you so this is the burger that I got. This is a burger on this garlic bread, comes with fries. So it's a burger, buffalo chicken on top of it, deep fried or whatever, something with the onions and all these veggies and stuff. It was unbelievable. It was like something I've never had. That's what I do when I go to a menu. It's like, what can I not get anywhere else? Like, what's the one? And this one stood out, and I was like, between the nachos, like I could eat only a half of that burger and a couple of fries. Granted, the Miller lattes were delicious. They didn't have my Jenny. I was a little let down. I said, next time I come here, I want some Jenny, because they didn't have a drink menu. So I'm like, oh, do you have a drink? And they're like, we have a full bar. And I was like, cool. There's nobody there, so it's not real full. And then she didn't really appreciate that joke. So I was like, but how am I supposed to know what the full? I'll take a Jenny Light. And she, I don't think we have Jenny Light. I'm like, not a full bar then, is it? And I go, do you have any like drink specials or anything? No, we can make whatever you want. And I was like, cool. Miller latte, like full bar.
Full bar. The bread, the bun on that burger looked fucking amazing. Oh,
Right.
That was.
And
And those French fries, how were those French fries?
They were good. They were homemade fry, as they advertised. But to me, I almost wonder if you can buy frozen homemade fries or something, which I'm sure you probably could, because they all look to be about the same cut. Which normally, when I go to places and they're homemade fries, they're usually a little bit different. You know what I mean? They all look
Maybe
the same, but they were good.
they're using those TikTok shop dicer things, whatever, those slap chop things. My
Might
wife
be.
was also a sucker buying one. She got the cheap ass version, and that did not cut anything. Ass. Do not recommend. 0 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, I don't know. I bought a very like industrial one, stainless steel potato cutter. So you put it in, got the lever. And then I was like, man, do I really need to be eating fries this much?
Yes, absolutely.
I did.
You should. Yeah, do it.
And I actually don't know where it is. Huh.
You should be making some curly fries.
yeah,
God, I want some Arby's.
the bun on the burger. I got to tell you, there is, other than the burger itself, not much with a burger that can really turn a burger sour, so to speak, for me, other than the bun. If that bun isn't toasted, isn't with clarified butter and then thrown on the griddle, if it's stale, if it's cheap, if it's a pretzel bun, the pretzel buns, those shits are usually terrible. Sometimes they're good, but other times it's just
Dry.
so chewy and shit. But a bun truly makes the burger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and not only that, and how many times have you got a burger that the bottom bun was just soggy because they just set it on there, they didn't have anything under it, and that pisses me off.
Oh, that's makes you want to punch a baby. Like that shit's so aggravating.
I asked you, Euban, because I assume you eat just as terribly as I do.
Yes, sir.
But
Maybe worse. I'm sure I probably do.
You ever been to Burger? You go to Burger King a lot?
I love Burger King.
Yeah. So me too. I used to love to go to Burger King, and oh man, it was terrible. I'd go there and I'd get like 4 like bacon cheeseburgers or something. Like it was just their cheap ones, old $1.50, $2, whatever it was at the time. It's not that cheap anymore. And I would just smash on them, and I would just be like, "Oh, this is awful. Why did I just do this to my body?" But I used to get burgers from them, little cheap ones, and sometimes the bun would be stale. You ever eaten a stale bun from Burger King where it's kind of hard and gross? It's like, come on, man.
And it's usually on one side to where it kind of gets you. Like you'll start off and like, oh, this is really good, and then you get to the one side where it's like mangled a little bit and just dry, almost like it's a cork, like a wine cork, and you're like, what is this? Ass.
But we paid for it, so we're eating it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 100%. You just take another drink of your drink and everything and just keep it in there at the same time, moisten it. Just,
Isn't that crazy? We'll go to the store, we'll buy, a bunch of food, we'll buy veggies or whatever else, and we'll let that shit go to waste. I will never let fast food go to waste. I don't care if it's a French fry or what. I'm eating that shit.
See, that's my problem too. And the kids love to order an excess amount, and then they're like, "I'm done," and I'm like, "Be a damn shame if those 4 nuggets went to waste." Even though I just had a Big Mac and a large fry, and some of the toddlers' other nuggets, I still can't let these go to waste. And so there I am. It could be, I can step out to the shop, come back up in the morning, or 3 hours later, it could be a cold ass nugget. There I am. Just eating them and everything. I'm like, don't throw those away. Dad will get to it. My wife thinks it's disgusting that I will keep a cold cheeseburger, or I'll put a cheeseburger in the fridge. She's like, I can't eat that. And I'm like, yeah, keep that there. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. That will not stay in the fridge long. I'll just take it straight out. I won't even microwave it and just eat it. She's like, damn, that looks dry as fuck. It is. I don't give a.
What's one of the foods that you prefer cold? Not the obvious cereal or ice cream or some shit that's designated. Is there like for me, I prefer chicken wings cold. And I know some people, I don't know what it is. I love a good cold chicken wing. I think for me, because it's easier to eat, like the sauce is kind of absorbed in it. It's not there. It doesn't get everywhere. And I know that's part of eating a chicken wing. Do I like them fresh and hot and crispy? Yes, but for some reason, I'll just get them to go, and then I'll eat them either later or the next day or something. I don't know. It's a thing.
So chicken wings are obviously better warm. But to your point, if I have a leftover chicken wings in the fridge, there's something about dipping cold chicken with barbecue and stuff on like ranch or blue cheese and eat. There's something about it. Pizza is another one for me. Like, I don't prefer pizza cold because I like warm pizza. There's nothing greater than warm dough and cheese and grease and all that shit on top of it. But
ooh, daddy, chill.
You get a cold pizza, you don't have to worry about all that stuff other than the sauce getting on you. So you just eat at it.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza's the best cold.
Cold pizza is fantastic. That's what I was going to go with. So you're a slut for saying that. But I guess I'll just go back to cold chicken nugget, man. I don't know what it is. I will fuck that up. And you mentioned wings, but B-dubs, I know they're boneless wings. I know there's not real wings. But if we get the boneless ones, and then they're the mango habanero ones, fuck, I will not warm those up. I like them better cold. I don't know what it is. Like you said, dipping it in a sauce or stuff. I'll have some of that leftover queso. I'm getting hard thinking about it. I'm starving.
Can I ask you guys a question?
No.
Yeah.
What does this look like?
It's a penis.
Oh, that looks...
A titty? Was that a
Banana.
titty? Or...
But totally the end of it, like, that is straight. The other side's fine. Just
that's
like when you
She-Hulk, and then the other side's the normal Hulk.
Anyway, I'm done.
Were you second on it?
Well,
Yeah,
you've been
what's it
watching
taste
me
like?
the last. I've been playing with it with my hands.
Yeah. Stand up.
Want to see the banana?
No, because
Somebody's going
I
camping.
just showed you this, and I don't want to be a letdown.
Speaking of food and cold and stuff like that, we recently, I was chatting with somebody on the Instagram, and they're going to send us over something, and I'm super excited about it because I've always had a thing that everything's better in tortillas. Being a guy with the big beard, the mustache, and almost any kind of meal you can put in a tortilla, they're fairly healthy, and you put it in there. So have you guys seen this yet? It's called the Crimpet. I haven't got one yet, but I am excited for this. It's a tortilla sealer. So you can get here, you put it in here, and it actually crimps the edges. So you just build them up, come over, and
it's finally here, and we're so excited to show you
they're
this.
so excited. I'm gonna go full screen.
Here, and we're so excited to show you.
God damn it, lady!
Kitchen gadget from.
I'm gonna throw this in here. So obviously it opens up, and I think what I've read is a lot of people they do it, they seal it, then they either air fry it after.
Oh, well, that's
right,
brilliant.
Or you can heat it up first. But yeah, they do that. They make the sandwich, throw it in the air fryer, put it on a pan, make yourself these, wraps that whether they're quesadillas, whether they're whatever. Like, I am stoked. You can use the large tortilla shells, you can use smaller ones, any size really. Right?
Count me in.
I would fuck some shit up with that. I'm a big fan of tortillas as well. If I can wrap anything into one thing and make it easier, like I'm going to McDonald's and I'm getting a sausage McMuffin, I will never get a hash brown unless it's free off the rewards thing or something. Have you seen the price of a fucking hash brown at McDonald's?
No.
It's like
They've
$3
$3?
for one fucking hash brown. Now I'm gonna look it up again because see if I was really, really big. I'm
You know what the
telling
thing
you.
is? In I'm sure if you were to go on the app right now because you said it out loud and whatever, they'll be like, buy one, get 3 free hash browns.
See,
But it
and-
is getting expensive because people complain all the time. Like my parents, they'll travel to go see my grandma or something, and they were like, she lives in like a nursing home or whatever the proper word is for them. So she doesn't get out a lot. She eats a lot of the meals there and stuff like that. And she'll go out and be like, oh, let's just grab McDonald's or something quick, whatever. And Dad's like, he's kind of like us that we've talked about. But I'd rather go to a diner, a restaurant, or anything else because you're going to get it for the same price, if not cheaper, for better quality food. That isn't fast food. So they go to the Applebee's now.
see, I like Applebee's. They're tearing a lot of them down around here, though, unfortunately. But the one in our college town, beautiful, love it. And a hash brown, it's $2.89
Bro, are you kidding me?
for one hash brown. Do you remember when they used to be 2 for $1?
Yeah, man.
Not to be that walking uphill in the snow both ways to school type of person, but I do remember when you used to be able to get 2 hash browns for $1, and I would get a McMuffin.
Uh-oh. What's yours say? 219? What?
Shut the fuck! Why is mine
Oh,
70 cents
hold on.
higher? We're 2
Hold on.
hours away from each other.
Let me see what it is on mine.
It's $2.19.
Anybody else that's listening, I need you to grab the phone if you have the app for Crapdonald's. Look it up. Tell us what a hash brown is on your app because we already have two different prices.
But that is leaps and bounds away from each other. That's a big price for a fucking
For the fact that we can meet up with each other in 2 hours, roughly. You know what I mean?
Okay, so let's compare, shall we?
And the fact that
How much is your sausage McMuffin?
How do you search on this app? Is there like a search bar?
I just went
you
to
gotta
the
go order, then
$1, $2, and
search?
$3 menu.
yeah, you gotta
Sorry.
actually like.
I'm a
order.
rookie.
Okay, so you said a McMuffin.
Go to the $1, $2, and $3 menu.
Okay. What was your hash brown? Because we have 3 different prices.
What?
You were $2.89. You've been right.
Yes.
You were $2.19, Brandon.
Yep.
I don't know if you can see it. $2.39.
Why do I have
3
the most
different prices.
expensive hash browns, dude? This is some bullshit. I'm the only one upset about this because I'm the only one affected. This is some bullshit.
Somebody pick another item to compare.
Okay, so you said sausage McMuffin, right?
Yeah, sausage McMuffin.
It is $2.39 here.
Fuck you! It's $2.99.
Let's go, motherfucker!
Okay. Guess what mine is? $2.29.
You slut! What the fuck? Hey, so is yours also buy one get one all the time? Because if I put 2 of them on there, it's buy one get one for $1. I'm teaching you guys some secrets here.
I have a buy one breakfast sandwich, get one free.
Yes, they are buy one get one.
Yeah.
So it's
okay.
$3.90. It's $4.99. Nope, $3.99 for 2 of them.
So usually with the deal, because they offer you something for free every day. Sometimes with the hash brown, you can get buy one get one McMuffin, large drink, and a hash brown for like $5.30.
All right, last one. Go back to the main menu, Explorer menu, click on sandwiches and meals.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the top one listed? Not the price, but the top.
The
item.
featured?
Yeah.
Mine comes up featured bacon, egg, cheese, bagel.
That's
Same.
what I have too. $5.19
Motherfucker.
Just for the sandwich?
just for the sandwich. $7.79 for the meal.
Holy shit. What do you got, Ewan? Because mine is not.
Mine's not that cheap. So mine's $5.79 for the sandwich. And then the meal is $9.19.
Okay, listen to this. Mine's $5.89 for the sandwich and $9.19 for the meal.
Jesus, dude. So what the fuck?
It's a conspiracy, bro.
Oh
Not-
shit! Did we just unlock something?
We may have.
McDonald's. We're not. Oh, they're probably listening too. They're pretty big, and they could probably get rid of us easily. So we're not listening. This is just fun.
Are you McFucking me right now? This is insane. So, like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I did see something yesterday. So this is kind of why it's blowing my mind. So apparently, with that $5 deal they got going on, everyone's been buying the smaller fry, which is why they've been offering you the, hey, if you just spend $1, we'll give you a free large fry. They had to close down I can't remember where it was at, but apparently they lost like 300 jobs. They had to close a plant down because the economy and the way that people have been purchasing their meals has changed so drastically. They can't keep up with the production of something or other. I can't remember what the fuck it was.
We're sorry, Susan. You're a great worker. You've been here 20 years, but people aren't buying small fries anymore. We're going to have to let you go.
I was like, this is so, I don't know. We've talked about this before. McDonald's fries, overrated. I'm not even a huge fan of their fries.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say something that's really spicy. Fries in general are overrated. Now, I will eat them, but I'm not going there for the fries. I'm going there for the burger or for whatever else. And then the fries are fucking on the side.
What would
Literally.
be a side that maybe we can be revolutionary that goes better? That maybe some of these, like I love an Arby's. You have options. Maybe you want the baked potato. Maybe
We
you want
Americans love our
multiple
fucking
different
potatoes.
kinds of fries. Maybe you know what I mean. Like there's got to be potentially a side because I read something the other day that 50% of Americans, adults, are now diabetics. 75% of the youth in America are technically overweight and approaching obese. Shout out McDonald's.
I still can't believe how the price variations for how close we are. Like the states touch each other. This is what's so horse shit, you know?
That is
And I
wild to me.
assumed Matt's would be like $13 for every meal or something. You know what I mean? I was assuming that yours was going to be extremely high.
Only because I live in New York and you guys are like New York City. But you got to remember, we're the same size school as you've been. We're pretty small.
Aren't you closer to like Montreal or I almost said Toronto than you are the city?
Yeah, it's actually 4 hours to Toronto, 2 hours to Montreal, an hour to Ottawa, and 6 minutes to Canada. And it's probably 8 hours to New York City.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, so.
So do you have if you don't mind me asking, your passport where you can walk over, or do you have a passport where you have to fly over?
No matter what, you can't walk over.
Right.
You can drive over. You have to pay a toll, drive over, and then they want you to have what is called an enhanced license. So it's more or less it goes into the system for border towns, I'm assuming, but maybe I shouldn't. You know, it'd be the same in the South. But any place that has borders with Canada, you can get an enhanced license or a passport. I have an expired passport, but you can still get over and back with a driver's license and a birth certificate. So that's typically, because a lot of times we'll bring that for the kids too. We'll bring, obviously they don't have a license, they don't have passports, and they can't get an enhanced license, so you bring a birth certificate. And then if, you know, like in the situation with me, where my daughter and her mother don't obviously live together, you have to get a written note from the other parent to have approval. And they don't usually hold you up. I mean, by the time you get there with all the cameras and the scans and stuff, they already know what you pretty much have going on, if they're going to let you go or if they're going to pull you over and search you. I mean, if you don't, and the thing too is if you have like a DWI, a felony, maybe a misdemeanor, I can't remember, you're not allowed in Canada for at least 10 years. And then you have to actually apply, pay money, thousands of dollars, apply. You could get denied, you could get there just for the ability to apply to get back to go to Canada.
Jesus.
Wow. Yep. And a lot of times too, I mean, technically I think they can't refuse you to get back into the country, but going over there, you know, they'll kind of give you more questions and this and that. On the way home, it's usually not too bad. Like, especially for us, like we're crossing, you know, right in the city where we have a bridge. Like if we were to try to cross on a bridge an hour away, they kind of get pissed. Like, why don't you just cross on your own bridge? Like, what do you got going on? And it's kind of sketchy. But now that I'm older, it's not like they go through the vehicle looking for something, you know? And what's weird, even though marijuana is legal in Canada and the state of New York, you still cannot bring it with you there or bring any back. Alcohol you can. You just have to pay a tax on it, but you can't bring back, and you can only bring in like certain fresh foods and certain liquids and stuff like that. But
There's, I can't remember his name. There's this guy that's on TikTok that I think has, he's a short king. I think he has a touch of the dwarfism, but he has a mullet, and he always has like this look on his face and everything. And he goes through Canada every single day, and eventually, like these like border patrol people are like, "Dude, what are you doing?" He's like, I'm just getting coffee. I'm just going to Tim Hortons." And they're like, "There's one 10 miles back, like literally in your country. Why don't you just get it there?" And he goes, "Nah, just tastes better. And he just goes to it every single day.
I'm not
And
going to lie to you. Fast food definitely tastes different and better in Canada. I mean, we've been twisted.
really,
Oh, 100%, because the regulations are different. There's even like a list of cereals that are sold in the U.S. that are banned in Canada and all these other countries. And I ended up, one of the kids was showing me a video where they have these people, I'm going to say UK. Let's go London because of football. They're over there and they're these students and they're trying American cereals, American candies and stuff. And they're just like, oh, trash. You know what I mean? Like, oh, why is it so sweet? And they look it up like, why are all these hazardous chemicals in here? And like, they're just banned. Like Canada has like 700 roughly or something like that foods through the well, it's not USDA, but the Canada Food and Drug Administration, whatever, that, that are allowed through. And like over in the US, it's like hundreds of thousands, like we're over here for some reason, we just keep feeding ourselves shitty, chemically cancer triggering foods.
I'm assuming Reese's Puffs is probably on that list, which is a damn shame because it's delicious. But I was walking through the store yesterday and I saw that they have, and this has probably been out forever, but I didn't notice it, but it's Reese's Puffs all peanut butter. So it's just Reese's Puff peanut butter cereal. And I'm like, I'm a slut for Captain Crunch peanut butter like cereal. That's my all-time favorite. I'm wondering how this one would be because I'm pretty sure it slaps.
You know what? I've learned a lot in this show, and our viewers likely have too, is that Euban is a slut for a lot of things. It's not.
I'm a whore.
The bar is
You
very
could have just
low.
stopped. Euban's a slut.
Yep.
You don't get a name like that.
That's
For
right.
anybody that wants to see Euban's potentially new persona, make sure you guys check out the Body Wrong podcast last week. He has a new character and a new wig and a whole different vibe. I'm going to tell you, it was a different vibe. For anybody that's a Dungeons and Dragons fan as well, maybe we got some nerds listening to this, go check it out. We put our take on Dungeons and Dragons. We had an epic quest to destroy a mirror at the Neverland Ranch. And it was interesting.
Those chambers had a lot of secrets. It was different. That was but that persona was a vibe. I had a really good time. I'm upset that we only do that monthly now because I feel like that's
it is
take
your
over.
show. You can do it as much or as little as you want. But speaking of Gabe and potentially, Gabe's character is the first name. I'm not going to give you the last name, but his character in the game was pretty high, very under the influence. And tell you what, so was I last night. I went to the Highest Peak. Shout out to them. It's a dispensary. The first, I believe, one of the first, if not the first, majority woman-owned cannabis dispensary in St. Lawrence County and the first New York State legal dispensary. And I had been meaning to get over there. Just got myself a hat and a shirt. And I was like, you know what? These blueberry little gummies, they sound fantastic. They do a good thing where all of the products are made in New York and all that good stuff. So I was like, I'll try one. And it was only a 10, but I'm telling you, it hit me like 1,000. I don't know what it was. All of a sudden I was there and I could just feel myself. And it was like 40 minutes in. I was thinking it was going to take a little bit longer. And finally it was just like, then you got that full body buzz. And then all of a sudden, when you get a little bit too high, a little too, it almost, not like you're going to throw up, but you get that weird feeling in your throat where you're like, uh-oh, could I? That was there for about 10 minutes. And then finally I was just like, oh, it was fantastic. And they tasted so good.
You know what's funny about it for me is that sometimes I'll take one or two, and it's the same ones that I take, no more dosage than normal, and I've had it to where it'll go plateau and then stay across, and then I've had it where it goes, oh shit, I better go to sleep. Oh shit, I better go to sleep because this is gonna get good, and it's like just keeps growing. I'm like, holy shit, what the is it? Was that a better batch or something? It's supposed to be pretty, they're supposed to be pretty consistent, aren't they? Like legally and federally, but
yeah.
I got violently high last weekend, and so I was eating gummies. I ate one of these homemade edibles at the housekeeper found at the hotels. So probably should have ate one of those, but it wasn't bad. And then of course smoked a little bit. But I'm on the deck, and like you were talking about, like I'm usually know what I can handle and everything else, and I'm just getting to the point where I'm like, feel my heart racing again, and I'm like, am I gonna die? I'm like, oh my god! And I thought to myself, and I was like, do I need to call somebody? Then I hear sirens, right? And I'm like, that's getting closer. And I'm like, am I envisioning this? Like, is this really happening? Next thing I know, it's getting closer and closer. My heart's really racing. I'm like, it's coming for me. It's coming for me. It turns down my road. I live on the middle of fucking nowhere. It's going down this gravel road. And I'm like, they're here for me. They know what's going on. It just passes my road. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I knew nobody would believe me. So I got my Snapchat out, my camera, and I videoed it going down the road. I asked all the neighbors. I was like, hey, what happened? Did that go to your house? Everybody okay? Everyone's like, we didn't see an ambulance go by. And I'm like, bullshit. Like, there's how? Sirens were going off, everything else? Nope. Didn't know anything. And I'm like, this is some shit. So 5 days later, find out somebody passed away. It's unfortunate. But I wasn't crazy. There was an ambulance down the road. But I was so fucking high. I was like, they're going to put me on a gurney. They're going to send me out of here. I'm dead. I'm like, fuck. I don't have a will. I'm so screwed. Just everything was running through my mind. So it's good to know that still happens even after all this time, that I can still get paranormally high.
Yes, you did. Have you guys ever seen the like energy boosting or sleep cannabis pills? There was a pack of them. Like I said, they sent the highest peak sent a very awesome, like care package, obviously with a hat and stuff like that. They gave like a drink, which is like a 5 milligram drink. All these pills. The blueberry ones, they like a very heavy indica gummy. Then they gave me like these monster mango hundreds, and I'm like, oh, I hope I don't accidentally eat one of them, because then I will have a Reuben moment, especially what the tens did. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, then they had a couple pre rolls. We were on the go yesterday, so I picked up one. It was a Baby Yoda in a Jetty infused pre roll. So I'm excited for those potentially today.
So the local guy that we get our stuff from, he has Baby Yoda as well, and unfortunately I didn't get that one this time. But the names that he has are very weird as well. I got Alien Mint, and this other one was weird. I can't remember what the hell it was called. Oh, that's my favorite so far. Steakhouse.
Yeah.
Steakhouse has been very kind to me.
I thought it was decent. They charge, I think it's the Baby Yoda was a pre-roll. It's an indica. It's a half a gram, and they charge like $7.
Yeah,
which I think is pretty fair as well. And then I think the other pre-roll was a gram pre-roll. Because I'm that type of person. I walked in, and the person that was working, awesome behind the counter, and I was like, all right, what's your go-to? She's like, just for the pre-rolls, the carts, whatever. I was like, no, I want a pre-roll. And she walked right over and was like, this is the one. And it was that Jetty. I'm like, sold. I think it was only like $12, 12, maybe 13, something like that for a gram pre-roll. I didn't try it yet, but that's today's adventure.
That's about the prices they have here. And some of the bud tenders at some of the stores too tell me that getting the pre-rolls they don't recommend it just because it's all the shake. It's like the worst of the worst of it. And I'm like, it's still weed, and I don't give a shit, But they encourage you to get the actual bud and do it yourself. And I'm like, nope, too much work.
Well, that, and it's just like for us, like we're on the go. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to get it. I didn't have anything with me, so it's like, do I just buy a pre-roll, or it's like, I don't need another piece. I don't need another pipe. I don't need another travel thing. I don't need, you know what I mean? And I was like, I don't really feel like rolling one myself, so I could just give you, $20 and have a couple of them. Like, that seems a little bit easier than.
You can only get like 3 hash browns over here for a price of a pre-roll.
Yeah, but over here you might be able to get 4.
Insane. It's so upsetting.
It's unbelievable, man. So I don't know. We can wrap this up if you guys got some stuff to do. Seems like a good time. Before we do, though, I will say the old leaves are changing. Get yourself some flannels, especially if you have no heat in your room. You're gonna need some Vermont flannels. And I'm gonna. I just purchased. They have blankets, flannel blankets, and I heard they are amazing. Coworker came to me. He's like, "Hey, I love that flannel." I was like, "Oh, thanks, man. Who was it?" I said Vermont flannel. Of course, he's an LL Bean guy, which whatever. I'm trying to convert him, but it turns out he's been buying LL Bean since 1999. So he's got everything in the catalog. He's probably not switching, but he does have one of those blankets, and he's like, "It's the only blanket I bring to hunting camp." I was thinking, wow, there's probably a lot of semen on that, but good for you. But either way, go to Vermont Flannel. beardlaws.com. Use code beardlaws24 and always check out our friends Copper John's. Use code beardlaws. Save yourself some money. And it might be on the internet because I think I posted it, but I don't know if I've told you guys and you guys probably didn't see it, but I came out with a third book that is now available on Amazon. Euban, it's right in your wheelhouse. It's for ages 5 to 18.
Thank
So
God.
you should be able to read it. There are some pictures and stuff. And it's called The Epic Beard Adventures of Mr. Whiskerwitz.
How many pages?
27, 28 pages, maybe 29.
Definitely. I think I can handle that. That's a little more reading than I usually do, but I guess I could probably get that. I can do that.
But it was pretty cool too, because with the use of, I've obviously been getting a little better with art and this and that. Like I didn't have to go and pay someone to do all of the art, and it wasn't a book that was featured around me. So I ended up using a character, just a very generic, just friendly little face with a big white beard, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty much this guy finds a beard, or finds a whole village inside his beard one day when he was combing it, and he decided somehow he was going to get in there. He was going to check it out, and then the village in there was getting messed with by some beard bandits and his arch nemesis called Baldy McShave. So he's got to deal with it. He's got to deal with it.
That sounds awesome.
So if anybody does want to check it out, $7.99. I figured that's a fair price for a paperback kids book, right?
Absolutely.
But if people have Kindle and you pay for the Kindle, I think you can do it for free.
If I purchase it here, it's probably fucking $9.19.
I was going to say, depending where you are and what app you use, it might be a little bit more. One thing I want to complain, because we started with a complaint that I want to just throw out there, is they just had Prime Day on Amazon. And it really pisses me off because I put some items in there. And I don't know if you guys do this or not. I put it in there. I take screenshots. I'm like, this is the price of the shit. And then they do the Prime Day. And next thing you know, it's like 75% off. And it's more expensive than the normal day price. It really pisses me off that all these companies and Amazon, like, they allow you to do that, jack up the price, but just put a savings on it so it looks like it. And they get so many people to do that. Even the wife was like, oh, maybe we should take a look at this automatic cat litter box. Normally it's $7.99. It's on sale for $3.99. I'm like, cool. I have that same one in my cart, and it's actually like $3.29 normally. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, well, that's why you're smarter or something like me. I just screenshot. Save that one when you're pissed at me. Just remember, I was right. I'm smarter than you.
You're right. That one's going on the fridge.
But that shit pisses me off.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
I've been married for 12 years, and been together for more than 15. There has been several times where I've been right, like dead. I had her dead to rights. Like, I'm right, you're wrong. We're in this moment together. Now admit it and apologize. I have gotten one apology. And it wasn't a heartfelt apology, I'll tell you that. Ever. That's marriage for you, okay? That's you want to fight. That's marriage.
What's frustrating is how confident you are whenever you know you're like, I'm right. Like, they're like, challenge me. Go ahead. I know that I'm right. And then you walk away after the argument, and I'm like, how was I wrong? What? I don't know what I did, but somehow I guess I'm wrong, and she was right against son of a bitch. Like, I thought for sure I was right this time.
You can have screenshots. You can have receipts. You can have whatever you'd like. They shed one tear, and it's game over.
It's bullshit.
No.
And not to get political, but I'm very surprised that somehow a woman hasn't taken over this country, because the power that they have to most of us men, it's unbelievable. And I'm not out saying here that we shouldn't, but it's just, I've always thought that. I'm like, man, they have ways to make grown men, tough men, Southern men, Northern men, Western men, doesn't matter, that just do that. I mean, granted, there is a whole, never mind. Anyways, that they don't have a power on. But either way, even the ones that don't potentially even love women, I guarantee you their moms still have a power over them to make them apologize and humble them a little bit. But there's no better way than we should probably get out of here. So, fellas, of course, we record on Sundays. That's why it's football heavy. Good luck to your teams. And I really need Jacksonville, again, at the time of the recording, sorry, to pull this off. And it's not looking good. So fuck you, Trevor Lawrence. You were the worst goddamn pick that I've ever seen.
He's boo boo.
But either way, Euban, Brandon, appreciate you guys. Anybody listening for whatever reason, we appreciate you as well. We'll be back next week. You've been getting words of wisdom, or do you want to, send any hugs or kisses to anybody's grandma?
No, but you know what? Man with hand in pocket, feel cocky all day.
Well said. Speaking of that, goodbye.
Buckle up tight, it's gonna be a wild ride. We're diving deep into your fridge where secrets hide. Mysteries of leftovers, the wonders inside. From moldy sandwiches to ancient yogurt jars, we cover the truth.